Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence, and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. Today, we're exploring something subtle, yet magnetic, something that silently commands a woman's attention, not through force, not through flash, but through presence. Why is it that some men walk into a room and women feel naturally drawn to them without them saying a word? It's not money, it's not muscles, it's not smooth words. It's a kind of energy, a posture, a mindset. It's how a man carries himself in public, and what that tells the world about who he is in private. We're diving deep into this today, not just from a surface-level dating angle, but from a place of real masculine understanding. You'll learn how ancient wisdom, timeless behavior, and inner discipline shape the type of man women are magnetized to, and why doing this in public shifts the entire dynamic in your favor. So before we begin, drop a comment below. What's one thing you've noticed women respond to but most men overlook? Let's build each other up in the comments. And if you're here to sharpen your presence, deepen your discipline, and rise above modern distractions, then like, share, and subscribe, because what we're about to reveal isn't just dating advice, it's a return to your true nature as a man. Chapter 1. The Unspoken Power of Commanding Presence. There's a moment that every man has experienced. You're walking through a room or standing in a public place, and you see her glance. Not just a look, but a subtle pause, as if something about you disrupted her normal flow of thought. That's not an accident, that's not luck. That's the ancient signal of presence. Long before modern society trained men to chase, prove, and please, a man's stillness, his composure, and his awareness were enough to draw admiration. Women are still wired to notice it. It's biological, primal, timeless. When you hold yourself like a man who needs nothing, you speak louder than words ever could. This doesn't mean being loud or arrogant, it means being anchored, calm in your body, settled in your breath, and unshaken by the noise around you. You see, most men shrink in public. They make themselves smaller. They fidget. They avoid eye contact. They constantly look around to see how they're being perceived. But the man who walks with purpose, who moves slowly, who doesn't rush to speak, who knows he belongs anywhere he steps, he triggers something deep in women, curiosity mixed with admiration. It's not a trick, it's not a game, it's the natural reward of being grounded in your masculine essence. This is why in ancient warrior cultures, from the Spartans to the samurai, men were trained not just in combat but in discipline of body and mind, because how you carry yourself in public reveals everything about what's happening within you. A man who commands presence doesn't chase validation. He doesn't need to be seen, but women feel drawn to him because he doesn't seek attention. He already owns it. You don't need to perform. You need to become. This is where your power begins, not with pickup lines or external status, but with the quiet confidence that says, I am enough and I am here. Drop a comment. Have you ever noticed how some men don't say much, yet seem to attract everyone's attention? Share your thoughts below. Chapter 2. The specific actions that trigger a woman's instinctual attraction in public. Let's get real. Most men are walking through life unaware of how much they're communicating, without even opening their mouths. Every step you take in public, every gesture, every pause, every glance sends a signal, and women, they pick up on these signals faster than you can imagine. Not because they're trying to, but because they're wired to. So what is it that draws women to certain men in public? It's not about dressing flashy. It's not about being loud or overly confident. It's about subtle, intentional behaviors that radiate masculine clarity. Let's break down a few of these actions. 1. Moving with purpose. The man who walks like he knows where he's going, even if it's just across the street, immediately separates himself from the crowd. No hesitating. No awkward sidesteps, just deliberate, focused movement. This doesn't mean you have to march like a soldier, but it does mean your body should express inner direction, as if your life is ordered and your mind is clear. That's attractive, because a man who moves with purpose is a man who probably lives with purpose. 2. Holding eye contact without neediness. You're in a room. You lock eyes with her, but instead of looking away quickly or smirking awkwardly, you hold her gaze calmly. Not in a creepy way, not in a challenging way, just present, neutral, solid. This makes women feel something powerful. This man is not afraid of me, and he's not trying to impress me. That level of self-assurance is rare. And rare is attractive. Number 3. Stillness in a world of restlessness. We live in a world where everyone is constantly scrolling, fidgeting, checking their phone, bouncing from one distraction to another. But the man who sits still, who doesn't feel the need to fill every silence, who can just be comfortably, that man stands out. It signals inner mastery. It says, I don't need noise to feel alive, and women feel it. Stillness is presence, and presence is power. 4. Speaking slowly and clearly. When you do talk, fast talkers sound like they're trying to keep your attention. Slow, deliberate speakers, they command it. In ancient Greece, philosophers like Socrates would speak in measured, thoughtful cadence because they knew a man who controls his words controls his world. So when you speak in public, whether to a woman, a waiter, a friend, speak with calm intention. That tone, that pace, that control, it all communicates. I don't chase approval. I speak because I choose to. 5. Leading your environment. Whether you're with friends, at a cafe, or in a store, a man who leads the moment with small but strong decisions shows leadership. He chooses where to sit. He orders with clarity. He makes the call and stands by it. Women notice this. It tells them, this man isn't afraid to take the lead, and he won't fold under pressure. But all of these behaviors aren't just attractive, they're signals of a deeper truth, that you are centered, not just socially, but spiritually. Because a man who's mastered his public posture has usually done deep work on his private discipline. Drop a comment below. Which of these public behaviors do you already use, and which one do you want to master starting today? Chapter 3. The psychology behind her reaction, and how most men sabotage it. Let's go deeper now beneath the surface, because behind every glance a woman gives, behind every quiet curiosity she feels toward a man in public, there is a psychological mechanism at play, one that's been evolving for thousands of years. And here's the truth most men never hear. A woman is not attracted to what you're doing. She's attracted to what your actions represent. Her mind is built to detect strength. In ancient tribal life, a woman's survival often depended on her ability to choose a man who could lead, protect, and remain composed under pressure. Even though we live in modern times, her instincts haven't changed. So when she sees you stand still while others fidget, when you speak slowly while others rush, when you walk with direction instead of drifting, her subconscious says, this man isn't controlled by the environment, he controls himself. That's what she's drawn to, not your clothes, not your money, not your looks, but your inner order displayed publicly without effort, or the modern mistake most men make. Unfortunately, today's world teaches men the opposite. It tells them to talk fast, to hold attention, prove their worth constantly, try harder to impress women, be nice at the expense of their spine, seek validation at all costs. This turns men into performers, into approval seekers, into shadows of themselves. And women can feel it. They feel when a man's confidence is fake. They sense when he's smiling just to be liked. They know when you're speaking just to fill a silence, instead of standing in it like a mountain. That's why some guys, even with good looks or money, still get overlooked. They're not embodying masculine leadership, they're chasing it. Attractiveness is about self-respect. Here's the key: if you don't respect yourself in public, by the way you speak, move, act, and make decisions, then no amount of style, compliments, or effort will make a woman feel safe with you. But if you walk into a room like a man who's not begging to be seen, yet everyone can feel your energy, that's magnetic. And here's the paradox: the less you try to be attractive and the more you simply are a grounded man, the more women feel drawn to you. Because deep down, every woman is waiting for a man who doesn't need her to feel whole, but who stands complete and invites her in without losing himself. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they weren't trying to be liked. They focused on one thing: living in accordance with virtue. They didn't react to the crowd. They didn't perform for approval. They moved in alignment with principle, even when no one was watching. That's what you do when you walk into public, with dignity. You're not trying to get attention. You're living from a code. And ironically, that draws more attention than anything else ever could. Drop a comment below. Have you ever caught yourself performing for attention instead of leading from self-respect? Let's talk about it. Chapter 4. Becoming the man she feels. Without you saying a word. So now you understand the psychology. You know what women instinctively respond to in public. But here's the deeper question: how do you become that man? Not just on some days, not just when you're in the mood, but every time you step into the world. How do you embody the masculine presence that shifts the energy in a room without needing to announce yourself? It starts with this truth: a man's presence in public is a reflection of his discipline in private. Not what you practice alone is what you radiate. In public, women feel drawn to the man who seems effortlessly confident. Not because he was born that way, but because he's trained himself to be unshakable. It happens in the small things. The way you wake up and command your day instead of snoozing through it. The way you speak to yourself in silence, whether you build yourself up or tear yourself down. The way you choose stillness over distraction, clarity over chaos, strength over excuses. This internal discipline is felt externally. You don't need to act confident when you've done the hard things when no one was watching. You just are. That's what women respond to in public. They feel the quiet certainty of a man who doesn't need attention because he's already approved of himself. Or your mission must come first. A woman cannot be your mission, and your public image cannot be your focus. Your purpose, your direction, your values, your principles must come before all else. When a man knows what he stands for, he stops chasing validation. He stops needing constant affirmation. He becomes solid. And that kind of man, he can walk into a cafe, say nothing, and still be the most powerful presence in the room. Because she doesn't feel you're looking for her. She feels that you're already whole, and her attraction becomes a response, not a reward. And the ancient way, rediscovered. In ancient times, men were raised to embody power from the inside out. They weren't obsessed with getting women. They were obsessed with becoming worthy of respect from themselves first. That's what we must return to. Modern society teaches men to be likable, but history's strongest men were admirable. And admiration comes from mastery, self-control, stillness, leadership, presence. And this is the way of the Stoic warrior. And this is what makes a woman feel deeply drawn to you in public, even if you never speak a word. Build your rituals, build your presence. If you want to become this kind of man, don't start with charm. Start with daily habits that sharpen your focus, physical routines that strengthen your posture and movement, mental clarity through journaling, meditation, and silence, leading in small environments before large ones, saying less but meaning more. Over time, these practices stack. And before long, you won't have to try to be magnetic. You'll simply be the kind of man who radiates something she can't explain, but can't ignore, because she doesn't fall for words, she falls for the energy behind them. Drop a comment. What daily habit has helped you become more grounded and magnetic as a man? Let's support each other in the comments. If this message spoke to you, if you're tired of the lies, and ready to return to real masculinity, like this video, share it with a brother, and subscribe to the Stoic Golden Tribe, because here, we don't chase attention, we cultivate greatness, and the world feels it.